Hello, everybody. I am Chris, and I am going to be taking you through some of the new updates that we have made to the Butter Agenda Planner. Lots of stuff to cover, so feel free to jump through to the section that you're more interested in. So some of the things we'll be going through, the new design of the Agenda Planner with the overview and the new agenda settings. We'll be looking at keyboard shortcuts as well. We'll be looking at how you can actually set up multiple agendas in your rooms. We'll be looking at the AI generated agendas. And finally, we'll be looking at how you can now attach specific agendas to your planned sessions. All right, let's get to it. As you can see, I am now in the Butter Lounge. Nothing changed here. I can navigate to agenda, which I'll do now. And here I can create a new agenda, or I can explore templates. I'll start with creating a new agenda. So let's see my new agenda. Now, I'll call this introduction. Welcome, everybody. I can tab through, set the introduction to be 10 minutes. So now I've added some facilitator notes that will be for me to remember for later. Only me and other facilitators will be able to see this. I can forward tab to section. I'll make the intro icy blue. I can change the layout. Let's say we want to start with facilitators on panel for this. I'll do that, and that's it. I can now click escape to remove focus. So I can click on N to create another block, and we'll call this presentation. Presenting our company vision. I could call this just because that would be interesting. Now I might need a bit more time for this. So let's say I have 20 minutes. I want to add a tool, so I can now click T. Add a slide deck that I've prepared, so I can just upload that called company vision. Oh, I'll save that. This has now been added in, and as previously, I can now add facilitator notes if I want to, section, color, layout, and so on. I think this is good for now. As you can see here on the right-hand side of the screen, it is that the agenda outline starts to build, which is what gives you a visual overview of how your session is structured, so you can actually see where you spend your time. Now let's add a new block, which is a discussion. Discuss the vision and give us feedback is what I want to tell the participants. I think we'll do this. Give people 20 minutes for discussion. I want to add breakout. Now you can see I hover it. It says B, which means I can click on B. We'll start the breakouts. Oop. I want people to be inside group size of 4. I'll give them 10 minutes for this. Yep. And I'll click on save. And now this has been split into 4. And finally, I think we'll round up with the outro. Closing remarks, something like that. Yeah, there you have it. And as you can now see, I have created an agenda, which is exactly 1 hour long. Over here, let me see. Let me actually just add a section color to this so that the outro is the same as the intro. So now I can see I'm spending 10 minutes on an intro and 10 minutes on an outro. Maybe that is too long, so I might want to go in here and change that to 5 minutes. So there you have it. Super, super quick to set up an agenda with all of the new keyboard shortcuts. Next up, settings. So for this agenda, I called it my new agenda. That's cool. I can add a description if I want to. Here I have the option to decide whether I want to show the agenda to participants in the session. For some sessions, showing the agenda might not be relevant, but by default, this is set to on. As long as this is set to on, you'll have a number of options for the agenda visibility, which means you can decide to show the full agenda to everybody in session. If you don't want people to look ahead, you can decide to only show them active and past blocks. And if you want to keep everything super focused on what's happening at the moment, you can even decide to only show the active block. For this session in particular, I don't want to spoil any surprises, but I also don't need the full focus on the active, so I'll actually let them see the active and past blocks. Time is really only important for facilitators in this one, so I will keep the time off, so it will only be for me and my co-facilitators to keep track of time. Now, I can decide whether I want the agenda to advance manually or to automatically advance when time runs out on a block. For this session, I want to use the manual advance, so I'll keep it like this. Super easy to set up. Good. This means that we have the first agenda set up, my new agenda. So when I go back to my room, you'll now see that my new agenda, which has 4 blocks, which has a duration of 55 minutes, will be set up in my room. I can now add another agenda to the room, which is where we move into the multiple agenda territory. So for this one, I know that I'll be using the Butter Lounge for a one-on-one with an upcoming team member. I will be exploring the templates, and I can see that there's one right here. So I can click on preview just to make sure that this is what I want, and this looks kind of cool. So I'll use this agenda. And in Jiffy, it is added to my room. I now have these 2 agendas set up, and you can set up as many as you want. Now, just to show the final thing, I'll add yet another agenda so that we have 3. I'll call this, I want to have brainstorming on ideas, and I don't know where to start. So this is where I want to look to leveraging the AI. And if I click on generate, it will open up this prompt where I can now set the duration that I want. And I want this to be a fairly quick brainstorm, 60 minutes. Yeah, that might be good. I could set it to 30 if I wanted, but I'll keep this to 60. Now, this is where you input your prompt. There are a number of different ways of writing good prompts. If you are new to this, we've added some prompt tips here. Be specific, input some information about how many participants is going to be taking part in the session, give it some ideas on the tone that you would like for the session, and include any ideas around activities or preferences you have for the session. These are just suggestions you can essentially try out with any type of prompt you would like. If you still need some inspiration, we have created some short prompts down here that you can get inspired from, and even just say, oh, this looks like something that I want, so I'll click on this, and now you have something that you can start from. We are going to be 8 participants, fast-paced and focused. Sounds cool, fast-paced, maybe energetic and focused. Include a lightning round of idea generation and a quick breakout session. Cool. I can now just click generate agenda, and you can now see that our friendly AI here is taking all of our information and turning it into a suggested agenda outline. And there we have it, a suggestion for a brainstorming session. So it shoots out an outline here with descriptions and some facilitator notes on what to prepare. So prepare a playlist of energizing music to get everyone in the mood. Use the music player, lightning round of idea generation, rapid fire session, use timers. This looks like something that I want. If I'm not completely satisfied, I can always regenerate, or in this case, I'll just use this agenda, and I can now go in and make the changes that I need. So for this one, it prompted me to find some music, so I'll do that. Let me see if there is something in the energy. Okay, energy boosting playlist. That sounds like what I need. So boom, I'll add that in there. And I can do that for all of the different blocks here. And again, the outline here gives me a quick overview of the session. Done. And now I have my 3 agendas set up in this room. This brings us to the final step where I want to plan an upcoming session with a new team member or an upcoming one-on-one with a new team member. So I can either, of course, plan it directly here from the Butter Lounge, but I can also plan it from the main room. So I'll see let me just turn off the keys, one-on-one with Mr. Butter. I'll select my Butter Lounge. You can now see the 3 agendas that I've set up here. I could also create a new one from scratch if I wanted to, or even add one from the library. But in this case, I know that I want the one-on-one with a new team member, so I'll add that in there. This is for next week on Wednesday at 2 for 45 minutes, and add in email needed, and then add to calendar. And as you can see, now my one-on-one with Mr. Butter is planned for May 24th. And when I start this session, the one-on-one agenda will automatically be loaded and will be ready for me to start. So this is pretty damn cool. And that wraps up this introduction of all of the new features that we have added to the agenda planner. I'm super excited to hear how you will be using this and what you think. So looking forward to all of your feedback, and happy planning.